Hello, welcome back. So it's been a hot minute since I've been able to just sit down and play with makeup. So I've got the chance today and that's what we're going to do. So I think I might start off with my eyes first. I've already done my skincare for the day. I want to try, so I usually use the P. Louise base, but I've noticed it's starting to crease on my eyes throughout the time that I'm wearing it. So I've bought the Benefit Stay Don't Stray to try out. I'm going to be using that today. I'm super excited. Oh, that's a pretty big tube. Is there a shade? I don't think there's a shade. I think it's just the one shade. I'm just going to apply a little bit of this primer, blend it out and see how I go. I'm just going to use this brush here by Models Prefer just to blend it out. Now, I am doing stuff tonight, so I think I might just go with a neutral look. Maybe a pop of colour, who really knows. I also have some other new products that I want to try out. And I'm going to actually try and use some things that I haven't used in a while. Am I happy with that coverage? No. Let me just apply some more. See how I go with something like that. Okay, so I think I'm liking the coverage now that I've applied a little bit more. I'm hoping that this doesn't crease throughout the night, so I'll have to update you guys. Having a look behind me with all my palettes, I've realised that I bought these NARS palettes during Boxing Day sale and I haven't really used them as much as I thought I would, so I've decided to, bring them out. The first one is the Wanted palette, which looks like this on the outside, and it's got all these beautiful shades. If we'd like to focus, yep, cool. There's some nice shimmers in there too. And then this is the Inferno palette, and they're the shades there. So I'm thinking maybe I can use a couple of shades of each palette depending on what I'm feeling, which honestly I have no idea. But let's just give it a whirl, shall we? Okay, so I think what I might do is I might go in with a crease shade first. So I'll go into the Wanted palette and I might use these two shades over here to just pop that in my crease. Hopefully this primer's good. I really do like NARS eyeshadows. They're such a dream to work with. And they're such a nice texture as well. So I'm just blending that all up into my crease. And a little bit above my crease as well. Whatever's left on the brush after those two dips that I've just done, I'm just going to use the brush to just blend out the edges. I won't dip back in just yet. I'm going to grab a smaller blending brush and I'm going to go in with the dark brown, same palette, and I'm going to pop that on my outer crease and outer corner as well. Is that a black and not a brown? I'm also making sure I angle this out as well. I think this is just a really dark brown, close to black, but it looks dark brown in the pan. Yeah, what I might do as well is I might get another brush, another blending brush, and I'll go into the Inferno palette and I'll take this reddy brownish shade right here. And what I might do with this is where the transition shade and the darker brown meet, I'm just going to use that in between them two there, just to blend them together. I really don't like that brush. And then if I feel like I've lost any pigmentation, which I feel like I have, I'll just go back and forth and build up to the intensity that I'm happy with. But I just want to make sure that everything is well blended and seamless. So once we've got something like this, I'm not too fussed about the underneath because I can clean that up with concealer. I might, just to go with like the reddy tones that I've got going on, the warmer tones, I'm going to go back into the Wanted palette and I'm just going to use this shade right here. It's got like a pinky reddish shift to it. I'm just going to use my finger first and I'm just going to apply that all over my lid up to where we placed that darker browny black shade. Actually, I'm not going to even connect it to there just yet because there's another shade from the Inferno palette that I want to try out there. But I'm just applying it with my finger and you'll see like the edges are kind of already soft. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but it's kind of soft. That's because my finger's kind of doing the work for me. So if you want to get maximum pigmentation from your shimmers, use your fingers because it softens out the edges really well. Obviously you can go back in with the brush, but this will do, I'd say, most of the work for you. But obviously you won't be able to be precise if you're using your fingers. So if you want precision, maybe just use like a brush or something like that. But I don't really mind a messy look in my day-to-day life. It's a great representation of what's going on in my head. Okay, so the brown, the other shade that I wanted to use is a brown, which is from the Inferno palette. It's this brown here, and as you can see, it's got some shimmers. I don't think I'll use my fingers for this. I'm going to use a brush, if I can find a brush that tickles my pickle. I might go in with this brush here. So I'm going to load that up on my brush, just a flat brush, and where that first shimmer shade that we put down and that dark brown, I'm going to put it in between them and blend them together, kind of like marry them up. Cool. While I've got the Inferno palette in my hand, I'm going to get a angled brush, and this palette actually has a black. So I'm going to put that on the angled brush and then really close to my lash line, I'm going to darken that up, just like on the outer portion of my eye. Okay, I'm going to leave it at the eyes for now. I'll come back to the eyes. I want to move on to the rest of my face. So for primer, I'm going to use the Milk Hydro Grip first. So I'm just going to get a nice decent amount of that, and just using my hands, I'm going to massage that in. Before I move on to foundation, I just want to apply a little bit of liquid highlighter underneath. So I'm going to use my Mecca Max liquid highlighter. I don't need much of this at all. I'm literally just going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And just a little bit up here. Obviously, if you were using this on a client, you wouldn't be using it like that. But I'm just using it on myself, so I don't mind. I'm just going to use the brush with that eye primer on, just to help me blend this out. Finger works well too. Do you see that glow? That's what I want to peek through. So I've just placed this on the highest points of my cheeks. If you can hear my brother singing, I'm so sorry, but he's a happy chap, so that's alright. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I always upload videos of him, and I don't know, a lot of people tend to like it, and he makes me laugh and makes me happy, so I decided to share it with the world. Alright, foundation time. For foundation, I have picked out 2 that I haven't used in a while. If you've been here before, you know that I thoroughly enjoy to mix foundations. The 2 foundations that I've picked is the Urban Decay Stay Naked and the Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation. So I'm going to do a concoction of the 2 and see how we go. And I'm just going to grab my foundation brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to apply that all over. Alrighty, concealer time. I'm going to use my Too Faced Born This Way Sculpting Concealer purely for the fact that I can see that I'm nearly done and I just want to finish it. Honestly, it's gotten to that point. I've put all my other concealers on hold because I'm really just trying to finish this. But I'm going to put a little bit here in the inner corner. I'm going to use a little bit on here just to clean up and also lift my face. And then what I might also do is I'll just add a touch of coverage here, like as in extra coverage. A little bit here on the tip of my nose. And I just want to brighten up the outer corners of my mouth. So what I'll do is I'll go in with a really small, not really small, but like a little brush. This is the setting powder by Real Techniques. Yep, setting brush. I'm going to let the concealer underneath my eyes just sit for a little moment. Just want to blend out everything else first. I'm going in underneath my eyes. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like cream bronze. And for that I'm going to use my Milk Makeup Baked Bronzer. I like to do all my creams first before I powder. Just so it can last a lot longer. Obviously when you work in layers it's going to be a lot more long lasting. So just on a brush, going to put some of that bronzer on. This is a brush that I've already used. Tell no one. Going to use that to bronze up my cheeks, and I'm going to bring that bronzer as well into the shadow, and then when I go back in with a powder bronzer I will make that more prominent. I feel like this technique, the whole layering, especially like my base products, really makes a big difference in the longevity of my makeup, and I quite like that because I don't feel like, you know, throughout the night my blush goes too much or my bronzer starts to wipe off or anything like that. I feel like it's a good technique. And what I might do as well is I'll just bring a little bit here where like my shadow and my eyebrows meet there, and a little bit on the very tip of my nose. Basically I'm just roughly contouring my nose. A bronzer is probably not the best way to go, but you know what? YOLO! And before I move on, I will add a little bit of cream blush. Might use another Milk product. This shade right here. And this is in the shade Quirk. So you know what? I'm probably just going to use the same brush. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to use another dirty brush. This is the e.l.f. 105 brush that I'm using. I'm just going to once again load it up on the brush. Really work it into the brush, into the bristles, like so. And then I'm just going to apply that a little bit higher than where we placed that cream bronzer. I'm also going to bring a little bit of that just up here in my temple. Now it looks kind of freaky right now, but once you blend it out and like start going over it with powder and stuff like that, it's all gonna tie really well in together. So never fret, never fear. I'm gonna go in with my foundation brush. I'm not dipping into any more foundation. I'm just going to go around the edges of both the blush and the bronzer, because I feel like once the edges are softened, then it doesn't look as, you know, as scary, as harsh. So now it's powder time. This is where I'll start to set everything and make sure it's really locked into place. So I'm just going to use a translucent powder. This is the RCMA powder that I've just placed in a Too Faced compartment because I finished the Too Faced one. But anyways, so I'm just going to grab a little bit on this brush. This is the Sephora Featherweight Blending Brush in the number 93. And I'm first going to set underneath my eyes. So I'll pat it in first and then I'll lightly dust off any excess there. So just like really gently. I'm not baking, I'm just really lightly setting everything. So I'm tapping off a lot of the product off of my brush. And then for the rest of my face, I'm just going to use my Cover FX Pressed Mineral Foundation. As you can see, I've hit pan and it is another product that I'm trying to finish. I'm just going to use the same brush that I've been using for this. And just very lightly, like a light coverage of this, just all over my face. And you'll see how it's toned down the bronzer and the cream blush. It's toned it down. And you'll probably think like, you know, so what was the point? Once again, longevity. Trust me, your base will look flawless all night doing this. Now I'm going to bronze up. For that, I'm just going to use my MAC Gimme Sun bronzer. Where we placed the cream bronzer, that's where we're going to put this bronzer. But also with this, I'm actually also going to go right up here in the corner. I want the bronzer to meet up with the eyeshadow. I don't know, I love this trick. I feel like it, see how it just flows with everything so much more nicer, I guess I want to say. Yeah, so much more nicer than this side. Like if I was just to place the bronzer here, like that in a line. See, it's just, it looks a bit choppy. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Whereas this here, it just all flows. It's like it's flowing from your eyes to your cheeks. It's just a really nice technique. I really like this technique a lot. Okay, and then for blush, might use this one, this Tarte First Class. That's the shade, sorry, First Class is the shade. But I'll put that on. And I'll also bring a little bit here on the bridge of my nose. And a little bit here on my forehead. And on my chin to just tie it all in. If you feel like it's a bit too strong, like you really just want to tone it down a little bit, what you can do is use the brush that you use the powder with, like the powder foundation, or the powder that you set your whole face with, and you can just really lightly, without dipping back into the product, just go over and gently soften everything out. I haven't used this in a while, the Master Chrome highlighter. This is in Molten Rose Gold. I think maybe it might go really well with like the tones in the eyeshadow that we've got going on. Like it's not too goldy, it's not too pinky. It'd be a nice match. I'm just using the same brush that we used for the powder, the Sephora one. That's really, oh, that's pretty. And then you'll see as well throughout the night, like because we put that glowy, the liquid highlight I should say, underneath, that will also come out throughout the night as the makeup wears. And it's just going to look really nice. It's going to look glowy, honey. I'm also going to use my finger and place a little bit on the tip of my nose. And like just here on the bridge. Now let's finish off these eyes. I'm going to go in with that first dark brown that we used, you know, that one from the Wanted palette. And I'm going to really run that all the way down. Okay. Then I'm just going to go in with those two shades that we used for the transition. And I'm really going to smoke out my lower lash line. Like, I want this super smoky. And I'm going to connect it up here as well. See what I'm doing there? Okay. So super smoky. Now I think off camera I'm going to do my eyebrows and my lashes and stuff like that. So I'll tell you guys what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the 24-hour brow setter by Benefit. I love this stuff. I feel like it holds the eyebrows really well. I'm going to fill the the tail of my brows with the NYX Professional Makeup Micro Brow Pencil. This is in the shade Espresso. And then for mascara, I'm going to use the Milk Kush Lash. And I think I might use these Tati lashes in Chick Flick, which I have used before, but I think I might cut some of this off just to make it like a more of a half lash, so I can really like lift up my eyes. So I'm going to do that all off camera, and then we can finish off with the lips and some setting spray. I thought I was filming, I was not filming, so let me just do a rundown of what I just did. So I showed you guys my eyebrows and the lashes. This is how it's all looking. And then in the inner corner, I just placed that same highlighter that we used on our face, just in the inner corner as well. And I just added a touch more here on that bridge of my nose. I was also saying that I remember back in the day, I used to always highlight underneath my brows, but I don't do that anymore because I don't know why. I got over it, I think. Anyway, so onto lips. I'm going to use this MAC lip pencil in Auburn. Now it is like a dark reddy brown. I'm hoping it's going to look good with the colour that I picked. It might go completely haywire, but you know what, who knows. I just thought it might be a good colour to tie in with the eyes. So I'm just going to gently outline my lips with that. I'm just going to use my finger to gently just soften that up. Also going to very, very, very gently just apply some of that all over my lips. Okay, now a moment of truth. I'm going to use this Colourpop Lippy Stick in Pillow Talk. God knows if they still do this, but smells questionable, but yellow. Now this is really cool toned, and I'm hoping that like with the mix, it will mix well. Okay, so it kind of worked. I was hoping that lip liner would give enough darkness to use with this colour, because I don't actually have a lip liner I mean, dark enough for this or cool enough. So I don't know, I think it sort of worked. What do we think? Did it work? Yeah, I think it sort of worked. Maybe if I had used that lip liner a little bit harder, made it a bit more opaque, and I didn't blend it out with my finger, it probably would have worked a lot better. Alright, setting spray. I'm going to use my Colourpop Pretty Fresh setting spray. Wave that down. Alright, and there we have the final look. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, thumbs up, like, comment, whatever. Subscribe if you happen to want to. And I will see you guys next time. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.